I was just answering this, but there was another video created and the person was saying, what would the world be like what would the world be like? This is under this video, but there was also another video created, not by me, but someone was saying, what would the world be like, you know, without so many organic portals? Well, as I've said on this channel many times, and have a little mini series which I stopped because it didn't get many views at the start, because most of you are idiots. You have no temporal sense. That's what I mean by idiot. You're stupid to time. You don't realize it's the end. For you who realize it's the end, I'm clearly not talking about you or to you. I'm talking to the rest of the idiots that are temporally blind, deaf, dumb and stupid. They don't want to admit it's the end of humanity and humans because they've got kids and stuff. They can't see, they're myopic, right? Half their kids are going to die. It's funny. And they think, oh, they've got souls. What a mean man for saying my kids are going to die. How do you know it's got a soul? If you have 3 kids, only one of them has the ability to have a soul by the numbers of 75% base NPC, or things like what I'm saying, 90% of people are parasites and yada yada yada. Why don't you watch the fucking channel? Because I've mentioned all this shit. Anyway, so, you know, you're about to see, because it's the organic portal apocalypse, which doesn't mean just like the culling, it means turning over or looking under the rock, revealing. That's what apocalypse means. In Greek it means to uncover, to apocalypse something, you know, to really figure it out. So that's what's happening here at the end of history as we face ourselves, right? Because we were looking away the whole time and now we have to face ourselves. What do I mean? Well, haven't you looked into the world and seen all the crises? It's endless problems. It's because we were being ignorant. Not me, but I say we as in humanity. And so we're facing ourselves at the end. That's what's going on here. It's the end of human history. The robots come next, unfortunately for you and your stupid kids. You shouldn't even be having kids at the end. What a moronic thing. The chances of you birthing the next Jesus Christ are so slim that, you know, if that's the odds you play with, you can be called a loser. Because it's like 0.1 out of 100%. You know what I mean? So you really don't know how to gamble. Don't quit your day job, slave. Anyway. So, yeah, it's the Organic Portals Apocalypse. I have a little mini-series I created like 2 years ago on that. If you look at the Organic Portals playlist of probably 450 videos by now. So, you know, it's the Organic Portals Apocalypse, and we're going to see what the world is going to be like without as many NPCs and so on. And I said coronavirus is going to lead to 1 billion NPC die-off. It's the Matrix reset. It's funny that COVID is part of that. Anyway, so, you know, it's not just from COVID, the people dying from coronavirus. It's the, like I said in that video, 1 billion NPCs dead video. I'm sure that's in the OP playlist. It's like the economic effects, the, you know, the starvation and losing the jobs and so forth, and that they're not skilled. They're only mono-skilled people, slaves. So when they lose their job, like all these people in the Middle East, they're now mass migrating back from, you know, United Emirates and stuff to, from all these little derelict camps. I read a lot about this. They're all trekking back to Pakistan and India and stuff now. There's like mass migration going on over there. People will be losing their jobs all over the place, even in America. Yeah, look at New York. When you look at that, it's like, you know, the big apple, so to speak. It's like a... New York has this interesting resonance that if it's happening there economically, it like kind of, it doesn't represent the Dow. That'd be incorrect to say the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And I'm talking about obviously that economic quote where it's well known, when the Dow sneezes, the world markets catch a cold. Yes, pardon the pun with coronavirus. But you get the idea, you know, when something happens on the Dow Jones in America, the rest of the world's markets, they also tumble. And when it goes up, all the other markets follow it. And I know this very well from the Australian market. And that's just the way it is. They're the leaders in the world. It's the benchmark currency, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, New York is like this representation. If it's happening there, if all these shop closures are happening there, it's going to be ramified times 10 around the world. And you can read about it. I don't have to give any examples. Go use the internet. So anyway, what would the world be like without organic portals? We're going to see that, without as many of them. Now, I've said that they're a stabilization functionality, remember? Corrupted, yes, but you know, their base function is stabilization. And it's just been corrupted to stop the flow now. It's over stabilization, it's too much, right? And so what's happening is you're going to have to remember that the time wave zero, yeah, Terence McKenna again, have to mention him, because he's the only one who brought it forth, unfortunately. I don't like him, I'm not in love with him. He's just the one who has the theory. So I have to mention his name as a reference. And so Terence, he had this time wave zero, and he showed how, you know, there's these two forces, habit versus novelty. It's like the electromagnetic and weak force and, you know, gravity. It's happening in every moment. Right, time is fractal, many layers and levels. Why don't you watch his spiel? And the point is that he showed how at 2012, the end of human history, it's now ended in the maximum amount of novelty. The wave dampened as the wave went down all the time. It would go up when habit would begin, like Tiananmen Square. You know, the reaction to mass protests is violence. That was habitual, so the wave turned up, right? Listen to what he says in his videos and pay fucking attention. And pay your attention to him. And, you know, he was showing how 2012 was the maximum amount of novelty. The wave has finished. Then, when you line it up with 2012, all of history lined up. Sure, you can recalibrate the wave. I know all about it. I get it. Don't even leave that comment. I'm not dumb. I've researched it. And so basically, when he calibrated the time wave software to 2012, all of history lined up, and he could see the major events in history. So we knew that 2012 was the end date. It was not the same if he lined it up to 2020. The fall of Egypt or whatever didn't line up. Do you get it? That's how we knew 2012 was the end. Apart from you should be able to feel it, like I've mentioned in my videos before. We're on the come down now. It's the spiritual de-awakening now. And only apocalypse now. There's no more eschaton or ascension energy around. It's apocalypse now. It's uncovering. And yeah, fire and brimstone a bit, but it's mostly about uncovering. So the point is, you know, we spirit humans and soul humans are much more novel, right? We're much more creative and so on. We can actually think outside the box. They think inside the box. They're scripted humans, blah, blah, blah. You know the general spiel because you've watched all the videos, haven't you? Good boy. All right. Good man. So you already know, but I'm just trying to summarize it. And the point is, you know, we're more novel, and a world without, you know, as many NPCs and organic portals, the blanket terminology, human prison bars is a good terminology to use. These stabilization people. Without them, the world is obviously going to be less stable. Yes, who knew? It was right there. I think it was Krishnamurti who said the solution is always embedded in the problem. It was right there all along. Anyway, so the point is that, you know, when there's less of them and the ratio between us and them evens out a bit, so to speak, or re-ratios to less of them, there's going to be less stabilization, and we can already see this, right? 2020 is hectic. Mass migration's continuing, it's not getting less, right? When you look at the stock market, it goes up and down more. The old buy and hold strategy is almost dead, unless you're in the big stocks. You don't hold a career as long. You're going to be changing jobs more than back in the 50s, right? So the point is that the world's in maximum novelty domain now. Whatever that means, that's a doozy to figure out. But it's in maximum novelty domain, and one thing we can obviously figure out from that is it's going to be very novel, because it's at maximum novelty. So it's going to be fairly novel. Novelty is the quality of newness and weirdness. It's just always weird because it's new, so really it's the quality of new. Or Neo, right? Neo from the movie The Matrix busts up the Matrix all through the trilogy series, just like me. So yeah, we're going to have a very novel environment. For instance, the street over the society, so to speak, or the jungle ethics coming back over man-made scripts, programs and laws and stuff. For instance, if I'm a big strong man in the jungle with my big hunting spear and knife and so on, and you're a woman and you don't know how to hunt and use the knife and spear, I have a natural power over you. You see what I'm saying? So that's why all these women, they're going to completely be Matrix agents. It's going to be 99% of women, and it's the age of Aquarius. It's feminine energy. Age of Pisces, precession of equinox was age of man, or men as well. And so now what we're going to have is over-feminization. I've talked about this before. I think you guys know that, most of you. It's an over-feminizing system. It's just trying to control us, because it's the end of their neurosis. Society is a fake safety. Have you noticed what women love? They love their fake security, because they're very insecure, because they don't have much vision, do they? What woman brings forth models of reality? See my videos, Are All Women Organic Portals? Because I don't know any woman ever to bring forth a proper model of reality, like these little things. They're not big fish, my friends. They're really not big fish. I've not yet been shown one example. Sure, there's women out there like someone mentioned that Gabriella lady who has fasted for 50 years or whatever, just like Pralhad Jani. There's that guy. She's like that. And that's a yogi higher path, and that's definitely a spirited higher path. But has she brought any models of reality in? I'm not sure. I don't research her. So she could be an example, but I've not yet been shown a model of reality from a woman, which is interesting. I'm not like a male chauvinist or any of this stuff. I just am looking at what's going on, and show me the model of reality. Where is the time wave Zero by Terence McKenna's wife? It wasn't his wife, it was him. It was Leonardo da Vinci, not whoever he was with. You know what I mean? It was Benjamin, not the lady Benjamin's with or something. Right, so it's very interesting. I'm not trying to bash women, but it's just an interesting thing I've come to notice only in the last few years, actually. While I started researching this whole organic portal thing, I started realizing this, hey, why are women all walking these lower paths? They're all just whores. If you go to a job tomorrow morning for a corporation, you're a whore. You're whoring yourself out. You're giving your sacred labor away for pennies on the infinity. I'll live for infinity because I brought new things. Such as, I don't know, one small thing I brought, like star, supertoroidal axiom reverberator, and just things like this. I bring in novelty, and Now, that makes you a hyperspatial line, not an ego dot. So if you go to work tomorrow for some corporation, you're a whore to me. I think you are a whore because you're whoring yourself out. It makes sense. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, like a literal whore on the side of the street. At least they work for themselves. That's how I see it. You know, the truth. You're whoring yourself out to someone else. At least whore yourself out to yourself. But yes, you know, you can say, well, really, they're whoring themselves out to other people because they're letting them inside the body and all this and affecting their spirit. And it's beyond the scope of this little conversation. I get that rebuttal that can be there. But I hope you see what I'm saying, right? They're giving their sacred labor away. They're not doing like a great work. They're going just to work for someone else and giving away all their life force. It's whoring yourself out. I absolutely agree with Ramtha on that. Jay-Z Knight, that lady. And yeah, so what let's get back to the main part of this. I don't know, we do a bit of MG-toe on this channel, so sometimes I do like to entertain the audience with the whole MG-toe sort of themes. MGTOW, I call it MG-toe because we're towing them. How are we towing them? Again, who is bringing in the spiritual insights? The men, the real men, the spirited men. That's why I just said we're towing them. That's why I call it MG-toe, not MGTOW. Because MGTOW is just pronouncing the acronym weirdly. It's meaningless. MG-toe, at least it gives meaning to it. So I'm MG-toe because it is SG-toe, I've found out. I've not found one woman who won't invert to the inherent like insecurity and psychopathies of the ego and all their needs and wants and all this, the lower life. And they need to. They're in the cycle. They need a job just to buy tampons. If they don't have a job, well, they're going to stick bark and leaves up there. No. It's just their nature. And this is the secondary feminine matrix. Hence, I'm not just like male chauvinisting and machoing or anything like that. I'm just looking at the facts, just trying to discern what's going on. Anyway, let's get back to the main thrust of the talk. Anyway, little message from my provider. So, you know, what will the world be like when there is less organic portals? It'll be more novel. For you, the person of society, the societals, which are organic portals, if you think society is awesome, you're an organic portal, you don't get it. Society is the absolute epitome of this matrix. It is the control structure. It is the man over nature bullshit that we're all against if we're woke, etc. So if you don't even realize, you're cognitive dissonancing right now. You just didn't hear that whole sentence. What you need to do is rewind. I can feel when you guys cognitive dissonance because I know, because I'm a shaman. So rewind the video just about, you know, the last 1 minute and listen very carefully to what I just said. Anyway, so, you know, society is now crumbling because it's the end of this man-made historical period, which was a little bit of an aberration, by the way, and a side eddy. If you think society is going to go on forever, you're myopic, you're short-sighted. It's already the end, it's already crumbling a mere decade after the end of history 2012. It's only been 8 years and it's already crumbling. You think it's going to last another 80 or 800 years? No, what happens is everything now devolves into nature or evolves as well. And I can't really talk about that. It's like biomimicry, stuff like that. That's the evolution part. Then there's the de-evolution part in the right sense. And it's not really a de-evolution because we're just getting back our natural knowledge. And the apocalypse ends in nature in 2089. And in 200 years, it's a tale of two cities 200 years later. Apparently there's a book written on that. So I'm using a book title. I've not read the book. But my idea is that Atlantis and Lemuria are in the future because I had visions. They're big crystal building cities. You know, like Jacques Fresco and his whole Venus project, that weird stuff. I don't know, I'm a little bit sus on that. But yeah, all his stuff with how they set up the ringed center, and then it's like a ring around it, and you know, houses are pumped out like it's a sim game. You know, like it's going to be mechanically created houses on a factory line, right? The whole Venus project thing. Look into it if you don't know it, by that Jacques Fresco guy. And I am suspicious on that. Anyway, but that's essentially what's going to happen, and this is what people depict in their spiritual visions. Even Atlantis and Lemuria, they're like these ringed cities, and I had a big, like, my own vision, and I flew into this vision, and I was talking to the wall, the crystal wall, and it just had an AI embedded in the wall. I was walking up to like my job or whatever, somewhere near the top of the building more. I was in the lobby at the bottom, tons of people walking around, and it was like the movie Guardians of the Galaxy or something, or Star Trek. There was like other races and stuff there, so interesting. Now, I don't know if these were chimeras or actual aliens. I suspect they were chimeras. I don't think they were like little aliens from Zenebel-Kanuzi, from what I remember. Because, you know, when you're in a vision, it's not super duper clear. But I do remember some faces and stuff, and they seem more like chimera creatures. And you've got people like Ray Kurzweil saying that by 2040, you know, in a few decades, we're going to be creating animals. Right? And then we've got, you know, atom creating machines coming and stuff from the atom level. That's all coming for sure. That's because we can see that as things progress, they're getting smaller, you know, like nanoization. And so I think they were chimeras, and this all fits on a timeline, you see. So by 2050, we're making chimera people, pig humans with like an actual pig head, or I don't know, a crocodile head human. Like chimera humanoids. That's what chimera is. You played that game. Anyway, don't worry about that. And yeah, so I think they were chimeras, and that makes sense. That fits in. If it's in 50 years, well, then they'll be there in another 150. You know, in 200 years when Lemuria and Atlantis are established. Because they're not in the past. I don't give a fuck what Plato said and how people misconstrue some guy's random little one line. It's one fucking sentence. I had a big vision. What are you going to go off? Some guy's word you don't know? Or your own vision? It's very obvious because it follows the lines of concrescence. We have tribes all around the world who have conglomerated to cultures and cities, right? And then we already know we're getting more and more mega cities. Atlantis and Lemuria is just where it ends up, in complete concrescence. You see, because nature seeks concrescence. It's inevitable. And so that's how I know that Atlantis and Lemuria are not in the past and you're a moron. And they're in the future. And if you read my website, you would already know this, and you wouldn't be living a lie. Because you have to admit you're living a lie. Okay, don't worry about it, don't then. Just read random little sunken city fucking blogs. You fucking idiot. Oh yeah, we found Atlantis again for the 500th time. Look, some ruins under the sea. It was definitely here. Because Plato said it was in this area. Oh, the amount of times I've had laughter over that. Anyway, cough laughing. My voice is getting sore. All right, so you know, it's going to be more novel. Is the answer? What's it going to be like when there is less organic portals? And now I'm about to make a video on who is the puppet master controlling these trolls. So I'm going to shut off this video. You're going to see this comment again. And I'm going to make a video on who controls